Hey, this is Joe Gilder. I want to talk about the way the playhead works in Studio One because there's kind of two different modes you can use. And if you don't know about them, you might miss out on this cool functionality. So the playhead is literally just this vertical line that moves when I hit play. Now, the normal function and the mode that I'm in, I'd say 98% of the time, is this mode, where if I go to play actually, let's go to the beginning of the song. By the way, you can press comma to get back to the beginning of the song. I think that's the standard. I might have custom mapped that, but that's what I use. Comma takes me all the way back to the beginning of the session. So let's say I want to start playback from right here. When I hit play, it starts playing. And then when I press spacebar again for stop, it jumps back to where it was. So this is great for, if you're listening to a specific section of the song, you're trying to tweak the EQ or figure out what's wrong with a certain section. You hit play, you stop, you hit play, you stop. It just keeps coming back to the same spot. That's the way I'm used to using it. It's the way most systems, I wouldn't say most, but I think most people probably are used to this workflow. However, sometimes that's not the way you want it to work. You want it to work more like a cassette player or a tape machine, where it's playing along, and then when you stop, it just stops where it is, and then when you hit play, it continues from where it left off. Well, that's actually a functionality you can have in Studio One, and the way to get there is to come up to the Transport menu under Options. So Transport Options, you'll notice there is an option to return to start on stop. So right now that is on. That means the playhead, which shows us where we are in the session horizontally, is going to return back to where it started every time we stop it. So if we just click that to disable that functionality, now it works like this. We hit play. Let me zoom out. And let's start back here. We hit play, and then when I stop, it just stops where it is, just like a cassette player used to do. Play, stop. Now, why is this useful? This is useful if you're playing back for a client or for the bandmates or for friends, and they say, hey, what was that? And let's say you're listening and you've listened to the first, 2 minutes of the song, and they have a question, and they say, hey, stop it for just a second. Well, if I'm using the other mode, I'm at 2 minutes in the song, and I stop, it's going to go all the way back to the beginning. And then when they say, okay, keep playing, if I hit play again, it's just going to play from the beginning. Not super fun. But with this mode on, I can stop it, say, what was your question? Oh, yes, that was me. And yes, I am incredible. Thank you for that. And I can hit play and we can continue where we were. This is the mode that I use when I'm doing mix critiques. So if I'm doing critiques for people where I'm stopping along the way to say, hey, that snare drum it needs this EQ move, and then we listen some more, and then I pause it and say, hey, that bass guitar's too loud, and continue on. This is a really handy way of doing that. So you have both functionalities available to you, and by the way, I just learned this the other day. Somebody told me, if you right-click on the transport down here at the bottom of the screen, so down where you see the play button and the stop button, if you right-click here, that same option is here as well. So you don't even have to go to the menus. I've been going to this menu for forever, so I'm probably going to have a hard time remembering to go here. But as with most things in Studio One, there's more than one way to do something. Actually, hold on, let's find out. Can we do this with keyboard shortcuts? So return, oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. So that return to 0 that I mentioned before, comma, I've got it set to comma, that returns all the way back to 0. We can actually set up a keyboard shortcut to toggle this return to start on stop. I'm probably, let's do it. Let's say we call it like Control T. And that looks like that's not assigned to anything. So that will toggle the return to start. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's just do it. Bam. So now, I wonder if I'll remember to do this. When I hit Control T, it toggles that parameter. So right now it's stopping along the way. And then if I hit Control T and start again, now it jumps back. Look at that, I've toggled it. And that, if you didn't know that about Studio One, come up to wherever it is in your menu. On a Mac, it's right here under Studio One, keyboard shortcuts. And you can just search for whatever feature you want. And most of the commands that you have available to you in Studio One are here. You can find one and you can map it to exactly whatever control that you want. Very cool, very customizable. Early on when I started using Studio One, that wasn't a big deal to me. But then when I find myself going, diving into menus to get to certain specific parameters and then realizing that I could do that from a keyboard shortcut, that makes me really excited. So a lot of stuff. Hope that was helpful for you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.